Hello, in today's tutorial we'll be taking a look over the mechanics of how to add a quotation to Receta. If you're interested in finding out how a quotation fits within the cycle of an order within Receta, there is another video available in the help section which you should look at. However, for this video we're simply identifying how you would add a quotation, the features within a quotation, and how you would need to edit it, for example. So let's get started. If we go to Sales, Quotations, Add, we can see the Add Quotation page. The first thing that we're asked to do is find who we want to assign this quotation to, and we can do that by searching for a customer by their customer name, business name, or postcode. If this is a new customer who you've never added a quotation for and you haven't been through the inquiry stage with them, you will need to go and add them via the customer add section before using this section. Let's assume for now we have found a particular customer. Let's start typing their name. As you can see, straight away when I typed in TE, because I know there's a tester company, it found it and automatically put them in. If there was more than one match, it would display a list and you could choose and select them. When a customer is selected, you are then greeted with the additional sections here. We'll take them in turn, the left hand side first. The aim of the game when it comes to adding a quotation is you want to get items from this section, which are the products you wish to sell, into this section, which is the basket, i.e. the overall shopping basket that the customer is wanting to hopefully purchase from yourselves. In many cases this basket will only be for one product, possibly multiple different price ranges, but only one product. We'll deal with how we add a quotation for more than one product as well in the next few minutes. When it comes to adding a product, you have two choices. As your system develops, you will end up with a number of finished Seep rods which you will make available to multiple customers perhaps. Here, by expanding the Select Existing Product section, you can see the list of pre-existing Seep rods which are available to multiple customers. If you have already made products for this customer before and you have assigned them as exclusive to them, they will also appear in this list and they'll have a little star next to them to show that they are exclusive to this customer. Any products which are exclusive to other customers will not appear in this list for this particular customer. You may, as your system develops, end up with many hundreds of Seep rods available to individual customers, either the overall ones or their own exclusives. Obviously, trying to find a particular product could prove problematic, therefore we have added additional search fields such as keyword or filtering options to narrow this list down to help you find particular products. If we said the customer wished to order this particular product and was looking to order 100, or at least get a quotation for 100, we could click the add button and it would add it here. As you can see, both on its original side and on this side we are given some additional information should we so wish: the name of the product, the reference number, and if we have any in stock. You can click on certain icons such as this one and find additional information about this particular Seep rod should you need it to use it for additional identification purposes or see any pricing models etc. on file. Any prices used against this product are automatically stored when you first set up the Seep rod and you can be seen here. You can also set up pricing per customer, so you can have a generic product which you sell to every customer but also have unique pricing for this particular customer if you so wish. The price shown here will change dependent upon the amount of quantity that we have. So we can see here when we order 100 there is no price set for 100 units. So if we clicked here we can see that the price actually is set for between 1,000 and 999,000. So let's say we change that to say we actually want to order 2,000. You can see instantly that price now changes. If we did try to order a product with a zero price against it, we would get a warning to remind us that that's what we were planning on doing and if we wanted to continue, etc. Now, let's say the customer would like a quotation for this product in denomination of 2,000 and also 4,000. There might be, for example, a price break at 4,000 that the customer wants to see. Rather than having to click the product again and add etc., you can see this button here, repeat line. If we click that, you can see the product gets added a second time underneath, and now we can say we'll have a quotation for 4,000 as well. If we scroll down, This button here will tell the system what type of quotation it is. If we were adding multiple different products, we would leave this as single quote with a single subtotal. Therefore, what the customer would see would be a quotation which showed a final figure if they were ordering every single product. In this case, because we're trying to give the customer a good picture of the fact that they have a price break at 2,000 and 4,000, we wouldn't want to display an overall subtotal. So what we will do is change that to each individual line. I realise that description may not be crystal clear, therefore I would recommend that you put in a few dummy quotes using this flag, change it to either type, and then go onto the quotation itself and try and print the quote, and you'll see how this works. We'll change that to each individual line, and you can see straight away the subtotal etc. disappears because there wouldn't be a subtotal. The customer would be unlikely to order both 2,000 and 4,000. We can add the shipping charge if we so wish. The shipping charge is calculated on two fronts. One, in your admin area you can set a default shipping charge which would be applied to every single quotation. However, if you have a customer who you want to offer free shipping to, you can override that on a per customer basis, and this would change to suit. Of course, if you wanted to add a very unique shipping charge to this quotation, for whatever reason, you could override this manually and type it into here. Is vatable should be very straightforward, and the quotation date. This will default to be today's date when you're adding the quotation. However, you can backdate it or future date it if you so wish. When you're ready, you'd click Save to System and the quotation will be generated. I will go to the quotation page that has been generated in a short while. However, there is another area which is of key interest. Obviously, at the minute we've only dealt with adding existing products to the basket and all of the repercussions that it has. If we minimise that and quickly get rid of the items in our basket, we're back to effectively the beginning of the quotation. Here we can add a brand new temporary cprod used only for quotation purposes to this quotation. We don't have to go out and automatically straight away add a new cprod before we can come back here and add it. We can actually do it on the fly within the quotation page. To do this, we would complete this page in much the same way you would add an actual cprod. There are videos in the help file for adding a cprod. If you so wish to, you look at them. However, I'll show the fields here. Adding a cprod, you would obviously give it a name. If there were any existing names that matched it, it would come up just so that you make sure that this product name was unique. All the materials below this are the constituent parts of the cprod. Here we're talking about the capsules that are in the cprod, the lid, the bottle, the label, etc. If any of these materials are exclusive to this customer and you wish to filter the results that you can when you're trying to search for items you want to put in here, you can click this button here and it'll filter these results. If you're not sure what that means, just leave it like this for now and it will all become apparent as you get more data in Receta. For now, the first question it's asking us is, what is the main capsules or tablets that are going to become the main units within this cprod? First of all, it says, are we using produced in-house finished products, FPs, or are we using any bought-in ones? Well, we're going to use some ones that we've made here. We're going to type in the word demo because I know there are two formulations finished, and it's saying which formulation will this be? Well, we know that it's this particular formulation. Oh, there's a warning come up. What that means is that although I want to put that formula of capsule into this product, that capsule has never been checked. If you're not sure what that means, please look at one of the videos to do with FPs and formulations, and that will explain this to you. So unfortunately I can't use that one, so I will choose the first one, and it lets me use that one because that one must have been checked, and I'll say I want to put 60 of those capsules in. It then asks me for the bottle or lid of the container. Again, I know there's one bottle, so I'll choose that. It's asking me for the lid. I'll choose a lid. And in this case, I'll say I don't particularly need a label or a second label, although if I could obviously select from my label list, should I so wish. If it has any inner packing, such as inner seals, we could add them here if we had them in our materials list, and outer seals again. Finally, we can specify the coding position. In most cases, this would be the bottom of the container, but you can choose it if you a different area here if you wish. This would be displayed on any of the production sheets generated by Receta to help your staff make sure that they produce the product correctly. Now, unlike the existing products, which will have all had their pricing defined before we add them into quotation, if we're adding a new Seep product on the fly, we need to know what price we're going to charge for it. So using all the other information above, here we'll say how many is the customer looking to be quoted on. And in this case we'll say 2,000 bottles. And what we'll then do is we'll click View Pricing Recommendations. This pop-up that appears is designed to help us easily calculate what the selling cost of this product should be for when using quotations. We'll see here at the top it's saying that we want to make 2,000 of them, which is what we've just added. And we can also see that the total material cost for making this product, which is the cost of all the capsules, the lid, the container, the label, etc., come to 36 pence per unit. We can click here and expand that to give us a little more information if we so wish. What we really want to do now though is establish what our labour costs are. We would expand the labour costs and go through each of the three main sections of labour: formulation, production and Seep prod machines. You can think of formula machines as the mixers, production machines as the encapsulation machines, and Seep prod machines as the capsule counters, the label applicators, etc. Now any of the machines shown in here will have previously been set up using your admin area. Again, there are videos for this. What we'll do here is we'll say our formulation machine, what's going to go on the mixer. Now, depending upon the defaults we've set against any particular machine, this page will automatically calculate the labour based upon the defaults of the machine against the quantity that it was going to be used. So for example, in the case of the mixer, because we're making 2,000 bottles, it already knows how many capsules that would be, therefore it already knows how much mix that would be, and it can therefore give us a rough cost for how long it's going to be used on the machine in order to mix all of those ingredients correctly. Based upon the hourly rates that we've set against this particular machine, it would cost us £22.50 to run the machine for that length of time for those number of capsules. In terms of our production machines, if we had any set up, here's the encapsulation machine. We can see the encapsulation machine in question does 40,000 units per hour. You may well have several. It's calculated that based upon the defaults that we've set for this particular machine, which includes clean down and clean startup times, that it would take 5 hours in total away from this machine in labour. Therefore the cost of that is £175. Seep prod machines. In this case we only have the labelling set up, but you may well have multiple capsule counting machines, labelling machines, etc. We'll choose the labeller, £62.50 to label. What we can now see is that it is calculated, if I just minimise that slightly, that bearing in mind the settings that we've just put in, it's 36 pence per unit to make the product in terms of materials, but now we've also been able to establish that it's 13 pence per unit. Therefore the grand total is 49 pence a unit in cost to the business. Obviously that is excluding certain overheads that Receta may not be aware of, but it does give a good impression of what the costs are. Using that data, we can now establish what our cost price that we should sell this product for to the customer. The profit margins here are controlled within the admin. Again, see some of the other videos if this is not clear. So here are the range of prices that we can afford to charge the customer. In the vast majority of cases, I would suggest that your median price with your middle range profit line would be the most often used. However, you can see the flexibility that Receta makes available to you. If of course you want to go against any of its recommendations, you can add your own price here and it would display the profit margin therein, or vice versa. So for example, we can see here that the price range recommended ranges between 70 pence a unit and £2.45. The median price is 98 pence with a profit line of 50%. Let's say I decide that actually I want to sell this at £1.50. It's telling me that that would make me 67% of profit. Conversely, if I said rather I'm happy to make 40% profit, it would show me that my bespoke price I need to sell it for will be 82 pence. Either way, whichever one of these prices I choose, I'm going to go for my own. I click use this price and you can see instantly it's now put it in the price box at a price break of between 1 and 99999. What you can do of course is decide that really that is only up to the maximum of 2,000, as you've just entered here. You could then repeat the exercise but for a different quantity and give you the different pricing structures therein with the different labour costs, and add another price band or another price break here. I'll not go through the same exercise again, but I'll give you an example of that. May calculate at 4,000 comes out at 80 pence. When I'm happy, what I'll now do is click add to quotation. You can see that quite quickly that's now added this new temporary Seep pod straight away. It's given it a new name, etc. And I can see that it's added the 2 price breaks automatically. So if I now said I wanted to repeat that line and give the gentleman or the lady in question the 2 price break options, because I'd previously set the pricing on the page I've just shown you, you can see straight away I can automatically put this into the person's quote. Let's say that that quote's now stored, save to system. We now get onto the quotation detail page. Here we can manipulate the quote even further if you wish by editing the quote, etc. Couple of key points that we want to notice here. Directly on the quotation we can see the spec sheet and the formulation sheet for the Seep rods in question, and you can view them as you need. You can also see the labour rates that you may well have stored, and you can see here that it's shown us we have got a labour rate stored for 2,000 units. The 4,001 we haven't, and that was simply because I didn't do that on the last page. Here we can see any notes which have been added. But 2 key points here. You can see the approved and disapproved buttons, and you can also see that some of the information is greyed out. Receta operates with a lock feature against quotations going out before they've been approved by a supervisor or an additional member of staff. In this case, when a quotation is added, a notification has been sent to the person designated as the person who approves quotations within your business. This notification user can be set within your admin area. Again, look at the other videos about admin for help with that. However, the person who was due to approve it would come along, review the quotation, make sure they're happy with the calculations that had been put in place by the other member of staff, and click to approve or disapprove the quotation and put their views therein, all of which would appear in the log. For now, I'm going to quickly say I'm going to approve this. Page now refreshes, and you can see that we now have some additional buttons. We can click to print this quotation, which shows us automatically the quotation with all of our terms and conditions and etc., and all of the information for the quotation that we can send to the customer. We could also of course automatically email this quotation to the customer. Here we can choose the contact, who we want to copy into it, the subject line, and any other information that we choose to send to the customer. Finally, if the customer is sending you a confirmation of their quotation request, let's say for example of sending an email or a Word document for example, and you want to make a note of that to make sure that the information that was provided to you matches the quotation which was sent, you could upload that file here. The final point to note, if a customer returns to you and says yes, I will take that quotation, you would simply click accept as a sales order, and this would automatically push the items of this into a sales order automatically for you to then further edit any quantities etc. and store. You wouldn't have to create the sales order again from scratch. You can move between a quotation and a sales order very quickly. If however the customer does get back in touch with you or actually says they no longer wish to pursue this quotation, you could click customer decline, enter the reasons, and they will be stored in the log, so that future quotations could be looked at and see why the customer didn't want to move ahead. One final point of note before we finish up, any quotation will have an expiry date set against it. Again, this is set in your admin area. By default, this would be 30 days. 5 days before the due date, the customer that this quotation has been set against will get an automatic email to remind them that their quotation will be expiring. Of course, if this quotation has gone ahead as a sales order, that email would not be sent. It would only be any outstanding quotes which have yet to be on file. What this does is it frees up your staff member from having to manage their quotes in a more rigorous way. They can be safe that if they don't get around to speak to any customers within the deadline, that the customer is at least being contacted automatically by the system to remind them about the quotation. That briefly concludes the method that we'd use to add a quotation. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll speak to you next time.